welcome back to Engineer's Life 2. We, in the last 2 or 3 episodes, I believe, have been working on trying to get up a reasonably decent amount of power, or at least some RF generation for our base so we can continue to move forward with things. So, episode or 2 ago, I believe, we got this little processing plant set up, kinda. I still have yet to build a building around it, but we'll get to that point. Basically what we're doing is we're taking potatoes and we are taking industrial hemp seeds. We're turning them into the 2 fluids that is required for this machine to be able to make biodiesel. And the biodiesel is then being sent over into this tank, where the tank is then automatically outputting into 2 biodiesel generators or diesel generators. So this is kind of pretty much where we left off last episode. I did go ahead in between episodes and build the second generator that I needed. And as you notice, we've got the power kind of shut off at this point because the next part of the processor problem is going to be we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to start actually utilizing this mess, and we're going to start doing some fun stuff. So I did kind of want to touch on these just a little bit. I know we didn't really get into it too much. I chose industrial hemp seeds because of the fact that I'm going to get about double the amount of oil out of the other compared to the other 2 types of stuff. Let's see, get the book out and let's get on the actual thing that we're looking at here. I kind of wanted to look at just a little bit, explain this so that we can actually kind of understand why I picked this. I picked the industrial hemp seeds because I'm going to get 120 millibuckets per seed per cycle, or per amount of thing, versus say wheat seeds or beetroot seeds or pumpkin seeds or melon seeds. I wanted to be able to get as much of this right off the bat because this is a process we're going to be using a lot of, and those hemp seeds are going to be something that we're going to have quite a bit of usage over time because of the fact we have an automatic lubricator that will allow certain machines like the crusher and the excavator, and I think the crusher, excavator, and something else, we'll have to look at it later on, will be allowed to be sped up slightly by utilizing the automatic lubricator and putting a little bit of this stuff in there. So the potatoes are potatoes. I mean, it is what it is with the next part, the fermenters and things and stuff, because of the fact that a potato, sugarcane, apples, those are all kinds of things you can do. We're going to be doing it this way. I'm going to be growing crops that way because I haven't gotten to do it like that in a really long time. And, you know, after a while, a 1-block machine that just grows one little plant for you kind of gets a little old. You know, the garden cloches are fine and dandy. They work perfectly wonderful, but I kind of just like to be able to do that on occasion. So potatoes, you get 2, sometimes 3 per harvest. So you get a little bit better off chance. Now, very much likely, in order to be able to support this system, we're probably going to eventually need to have 2 of these to be able to keep up with this and this. So this little dude right here is going to outperform this quite a ways because of the fact that, of course, we're getting about half the difference. So we're going to have to kind of pay attention to it and kind of work our way around with that. It's no big deal, no problem. We'll just kind of keep fooling with it. The generators, of course, we've got our capacitors set on top of them, and they're nice and fully charged, hopefully. I don't know where my little tool is, but we're going to play around with that in just a second once the sun goes down and we get to play with this structure and a couple of other things. So, where's sleeping bag? Alrighty then. So, first thing this morning, what I want to kind of do is you're going to notice that the wires are all kind of somewhat unhooked, aside from a couple of them over that direction. And the first thing we're going to do today actually is we're going to start dealing with the simple fact that we do have 8,000 RF a tick to play with over here. The problem with the way that this mess all works is because of the fact, well, I should say because of the fact. The problem with the way that we have to deal with power in this pack is that it is Immersive Engineering power transmission. So we're going to kind of play with power transmission today, or at least be able to understand what's going on. So I know that a lot of y'all have probably played with this, and a lot of these things are just continue on to the way things work and how things go. But what I kind of want to touch on is transfer rates based on wire types and connectors, first off, just to kind of get this through our heads. So as we all know, both of these generators are capable of producing 4,096 per each. So each one of them will make that much, which means we can technically just use a single HV wire connector on top of each one of those to be able to produce the amount of power out to some kind of storage medium or otherwise system. So As it's stated in the manual, I believe we can go back over here real quick. Let me see. Power generation, generator, diesel generator, blah, 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 blah. It should say somewhere in here the energy will be output up to the 3 connectors on top, and the energy output will be split between all connected points. Meaning that if you put 3 HV connectors, or I should say 3 MV wire connectors on top of one of these, you're not going to be able to get the full output basically out of one of these. So when you do build diesel generators, you need to be utilizing either a capacitor on top that is capable of absorbing as much RF as this thing can possibly put out, which I believe, and don't quote me on this, I don't know, I've been looking for the configuration file and I haven't been able to find it yet. But some of various things, packs I have played prior to this, especially the 112 packs, the output and input rates on an HV capacitor do not, and I mean do not, match up with what these HV wire connectors can do. It will usually be halved or 3/4 of it. So I put 3 of these guys up here so we can kind of play with this. We're going to test that as we go. 116 has changed the way the file structures work, or at least from what I can tell with the various mods and the configuration and how packs are put together. So I'm going to have to get used to figuring out what that actual setting is, because it's not a setting that is mentioned in basic wirings, transformers, and stuff. It used to be that you were mentioned with various things with the capacitors, but if you notice, a capacitor doesn't even have a page anymore, or at least it never did. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We will play with it as we go. Just understand that you're not going to get the full power out of a diesel generator if you put MV wire capacitor connector thingies, these on top of it. You're going to be missing about 1,000 RF a tick. So we need to get that out in HV and then move it into a storage medium. So that's what we're doing over here. What I want to do today actually is we're going to change this. We're going to build a power distribution center for this wonderful RF that we're going to be producing. So we're going to take these capacitors and we're going to move them over there into that building. So this is going to be a kind of what you would call a substation or a power storage facility. Normally you wouldn't do this in real life, but we're going to do it here. We don't store energy unless you're, using solar or something that doesn't necessarily run all the time. Plus, solar tends to require a change from a certain type of voltage to a certain type of voltage, which can be done a little bit easier if you store some of it. So we're going to put this stuff down. We're going to put these capacitors down. And then we're going to hook these generators to them so that that generator deals with these 3, that generator deals with these 3. And if we decide we want to build another slice of generational power, we can put it right behind it and then tie that into the line. Now, tying things into the line is an interesting thing. You need to kind of pay attention to this when you're playing with these. Again, the connectors are only really good for what they're rated for. So if I want to be able to pull the full amount, like I said, out of that generator, we need to be using high voltage lines, high voltage connectors to be able to get the full amount of power out of it. That also means here that every single side of these capacitors, we can put another connector on the side of it and output that amount of power again. So the total amount of power these things can put out at any given time is more or less the numbers we're going to care about are what the wires can maximum can't transfer. So as it sets right in there, you can basically use in and out. But let's see, the connector limits are how much a power can be in and output, but multiple connectors can unify into a single wire, which is how you manage to get that 32,000 RF transfer. The big problem is going to come when we get into extreme reactors. When and if we ever do get into extreme reactors, which I'm probably going to try to push for fairly soon anyway, because this is a hassle. The wiring system, playing with HV and LV and MV wiring in immersive engineering gets to be a hassle. So we may end up doing something kind of differently once we get to that point where we absolutely need the power. But we're going to go ahead and utilize it for now. What I want to do right off the bat, and I'm going to have to be really careful with this so I don't accidentally blow our character up. Again, there will be a kind of a building built right here, so this is going to be kind of one of those little don't jump up in the air areas kind of thing. Don't, try to kill yourself. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I can get high enough. I think we'll be all right with this. What I need to do is be very careful right now because I don't want to accidentally blow myself up. Because HV, MV wiring, LV wiring, they're not terrible. HV, if I touch it, it'll blow me halfway across the map over here. So what I'm really concerned about at this point is I want to make sure that if I do this, that's going to be able to reach that up to there and then float over to the other side of the road without me being able to get into it. So we're going to hang a connector there and a connector there, relay on all of those posts. And I even put in a little guardrail right here so that hopefully we don't get damaged. And I think I'm not a humongous fan of how this is going to work, and I may have to try to do something a little bit here, because the outputs are going to be shared right here. So we're going to come out the sides and go that direction, which I may want to make these a little taller. The problem, again, is that this is going to kind of hang and look like that, which means I might need to just find a little block that we can stick in that hole. Maybe something like this, or maybe what I'll do is I'll get a steel block and hang it on that. I just need those to be up just a little higher than they are right now so that we don't blow ourselves up. So let's go ahead and use that, and that, and that, and this, and then I think we'll do that for now. Okay, cool. So connectors, of course, we're going to have to go in. I know that kind of looks janky, but we'll get over it. It's fine. I don't want to do this, but okay. Click, 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 click. That way that generator can charge 3 capacitors at any given time. And if I take that over here and bring that down, he might puff just a little bit. Yes, okay. And do the same over here. Okay. We should be okay to be clear there. That looks decently fine for the moment. What will probably end up happening is once I decide how I want this to work, I might just leave it just like this. I don't know. I mean, I've looked at some things before as far as real world applications of this kind of stuff. So you go kind of different deals. All right, let's click on these and make some outputs. And make some outputs. And I think for right now, I'm just going to do... Is the sun going down again? Yes. All right. Well, we'll just output a couple of things here. And... yeah, we'll just do that, I guess. Yeah. So connector, connector. For right now, I'm just going to hook them on this side of them. Because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to be able to transfer that out and then go either that direction with it or that direction with it, or we're going to need to do some other kind of work with it. So let's see. Time. Can we continue on with this? Yes, we can. So let's see. Don't need you. Let's see what happens when I do that. That's scary enough as it is. And then these can unify. And then I don't like this. I should be able to walk under it? Yes, okay. As long as I don't jump. As long as I don't jump, I should be perfectly safe in here. Okay, let's sleep. Sleep. Okay, so I know that looks kind of crazy, and I know that's exactly what I wanted to kind of see some goofiness happen. I want to make sure that the central line over here is actually set up so that it can be received and connected to other areas. So like if I need to go that way with it or that way with it, we can go that way. Now, I'm hanging off on putting any more of this stuff in here right now because of the fact that I don't really need any more than about, what is it, about 4 or 5,000 RF a tick at this point. So we're okay. What we need to do now is we need to go ahead and figure out how we want to bring power over to here. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to say substation is that, again, we can unify things and we can do some stuff with it. So if I were to say take an HV transformer and put it right there, and don't jump up in the air, just stay down here where you're kind of safe. I can tie a wire from here to there and then go over to that power pole if I want to. Now I think I might actually not put it right here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put it on there. And let me see. Can I climb this? That's weird. So that's going to put the connector the wrong direction. That's kind of what I was scared of. So, no. Can I do this? Probably not. Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. I should have placed those beforehand. But we're going to do another one of those over here as well. So, boop. And then that should be clear enough for me to do the same thing. I think this one will actually place the direction I want it to place, right? No. I'm going to break you because I think that thing's going to try to spit me into it. Nope, it didn't. Good deal. Okay, cool. This is going to be one of those, we're going to build this, and then we're never going to come in here ever again. I might even put these capacitors. What I probably should do is actually just hang them up here and use them as the relays, but whatever. We're trying to make it look pretty, too. So we'll do that, and then we can do stuff like that. I mean, I could have put them up here. I just kind of want to have some kind of stupid, dangerous-looking thing like we always try to build, and that works. So, again, now if you look at this, what we've got on all of these, at least at this point, is this is basically taking 3 capacitors, and we're outputting at 4,000 RF a tick off of each one of these connectors and then unifying that into a single line and then tying it together. So that means, what's it, 6, which is not near the capacity of what we need to do. But what this will allow me to do is for the period of time that it takes to drain one of these or all of these capacitors, I can run something at 4,000 RF a tick 6 times. So what's going to be nice about that is when we do get up there and get that hooked up, or that excavator, whatever you want to call it, which we really need to get after. We're completely out of aluminum and completely almost out of iron at this point, so we're going to work at it. Anyhow, this will allow me to then output from that point to that point. This is where the long-handed reach thingy is really nice. Because we have something that needs the MV wiring right here, we're going to go ahead and wire it in. So let's see, MV wiring relay here, plus I'm going to plop one of these on top of here. Oh, did the butterfly get zapped? I'm so sorry. And then we can take the MV wire from there and put it right there, and then that will convert into a singular line. Now that acts the same connector as the same connector, which means that thing's only probably going to be good for about 1,000 RF a tick. So that's fine. I'm not going to do anything with this right now. We're just going to go ahead and do this and then jump over here and do this again. And that is exactly in line with that, which is going to suck. So what we're going to do is a magical little boop. No, I don't want that one. I want the one under it like that. Okay. Sometimes it's easier just to stack stuff up on these. And then we wait for a pause. Thank you very much, game. You're wonderful. Okay, so we're going to do this, that to there. Then that can go back over here and run that stuff. And we can get rid of that. Now, again, do I need to do that? No, I could just put a HV transformer right here on this post or right around in this area and then bring that down. which means then I can carry power that far. I think we're just going to leave this alone for right now as it goes. We're going to kind of play with it, and it's right here. So the other thing we need to do at this point, I guess, is we need to kind of think about doing the same thing over here. So I'm going to go ahead, because of the power that is capable of coming in over here, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then this. Can I get to that connector or no? Okay, no, but because of the distance, now I can also do that. All right, so now we have HV power running all the way over to that point. So I have since installed a little bit of this. So this kind of runs all the way over to here and goes over to that corner. Now, one thing I am going to say is for right now, close in base, we're going to be running the HV connectors fairly close to each other. So let's see if we can do a test really quickly. I think I can get this done without getting blasted again, but we'll put an HV connector on top of that, and then we'll connect a wire. And then I'm going to do the same thing with one of these, right like that, and do this with it. The beauty of an HV wire is the fact that we're now going to measure with this one. We've got 2 of these ready to go. So this can do from here, I think it's 16 blocks. So right about there, we can put a connector down and do that, and then that'll connect. That's 16 blocks from that point to that point, generally speaking. This one can do, I believe it's 32 blocks. So you don't necessarily have to do what I did up here. And for that matter, we are going to probably redo some of these post locations because Power Central is going to be over there. But one thing that's really nice about steel is you can go almost, I believe it's double the distance as far as carrying one to the other. For right now, I'm going to be in base doing it every one of these posts, every one of these insulated wire distances, mainly because I really don't feel like trying to count and or change that. So let's go ahead and clean this mess up and start on the next project. Alrighty then, let's go indoors and start thinking about the next fun piece. So what I'm going to do here real quick, since it's more or less just a whole lot of crafting, is we desperately, and I mean desperately, need to get an excavator up and running. We desperately need to get one of these, the excavator, which this is how we're going to be digging the majority of the ores out of the ground until we can get the laser drills set up for industrial foregrowing. We're going to need to be able to make a few of these, so a lot of this is just going to be a lot of steel, which we've been producing. Steel comes in handy for a lot of things, so we have to make the actual excavator body, and we have to make the actual excavator bucket wheels. So I'm going to get after that, and then I will see you guys in a little bit. Alrighty then, I think I got all the parts ready to go, and we went ahead and carried the power from that post up to here. We'll see how much I like that. I may change a little bit of this. Mainly, we got to get the high voltage up here so that we can actually kind of be able to do some stuff. And yes, unfortunately, this is the nearest piece of aluminum and, aluminum period that we have. So right here, I have a laterite vein and a lava reservoir, which this is where we're going to try to build the thing. So first thing I'm going to need to do is, unfortunately, we must move forward. It used to be, and I guess what we're going to go ahead and do as well is goodbye tree. Get you out of my life. Thank you. Good. We're going to try to make a level spot right here. And this is going to be the first one of these I will have built in 1.16 since the changes. So I'm totally 100% figuring that this is pretty much the center. See, it used to be back in the day that the system was chunk based, and each chunk had a chance basically to be able to contain a material or a fluid, and all you had to do was just kind of wander around and figure out where your materials were. Now, according to the way this stuff works, This is no longer the case. It can be just about anywhere it can be multiple types of things in one given spot. So, I mean, that was always the thing that you were always going to get multiple types and kinds of things. So let's grab the book out and read this and see exactly what it complains about. So excavator's one of the main pipes, blah, 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 blah. We already know that. That's always been the same. This is just bucket things and stuff. Does it need to be specifically put into the way that it works? So, see, this is my problem. It used to be that you put it anywhere in the, where is this stinking thing? Excavator, minerals, special machine, minerals. Where is this thing? So begin looking for minerals. You need survey tools by venturing out and using these survey tools. Once you find the general area, you can find it. It will basically, what we did, if you guys haven't known already, is we take these survey tools and we click around on the ground until we get lucky and find something. And then you have to note that veins can overlap, so you might find traces of different veins quite close to each other. After narrowing down the type and position of the vein, use a core sample drill to get a precise reading on what veins are found at exact positions. Supplying the machine with 40 RF tick will be giving you a deal that looks kind of like that. And now we need to go ahead and take a nap. All of that said and done, all of that going, what are we doing? It doesn't mention a single thing about, do I absolutely have to center the machine itself over the center of the vein in order to be able to get the most out of it. Let's throw away some junk because we don't need it and go away. I missed my trash can. And I guess the test will be let's do this. So I already know that was the center. What happens if I put it right next to it? Because if I have to center the machine over this, that's going to dictate how we build these things from now on. So I just want to know. So like this one is going to give us 31,227 ores. And I believe it's right there. What are you going to give me? 31,227 ores. Okay, and if I move you, like say there, and do it. I mean, we got to test this out. We don't know. They changed the way this system works. They changed the way you find normal, your stuff. This is something that I use quite a bit. So now we're looking at 2%. Which I did know that there was a copper vein down here. Do we still get the same amount of stuff? 97% laterite. This is 100%. This is 100%. So I need to be moving that way then, probably. Because I don't want the copper. And now I screwed up. I got to go get my core sample drill. Come here. Dang it. Dirt. Dirt. You have dirt in your inventory. Cool. So let's go over here then and do the same thing. I mean, most immersive engineering machines will have a central block that they'll be using as far as the actual, that's where all the processing work is done. So technically, I can keep moving sideways. It's still the same number of stuff. Saturation is 99.98%. So can I get that 100% without getting into the laterite, or the laterite vein, the epichlorite, or whatever the copper is? Yes, I think we can. So we don't want to go to, like, right there. Okay, so I guess we'll make a line, and I'm going to say that's where we're going to build it, right there. So let's get our machine out. I really wish it would quit doing that. Where is my toy? Let's get the toy out, and we'll go ahead and build the parts that we're going to need to be able to do this kind of stuff. Selection mode, thank you very much. Excavator, we'll start with this. Go ahead and I need it to point away from me like that. So we'll put it right there, I think, which means I need to trim the hill back a little bit. All right, let's get to building with the stuff, and I will recore sample drill that stuff later. I'm not really worried about it. So we should have a box full of the good stuff. That's not the box that I want. That's the box I want. So we need all of these parts for the beginning of it. Why this builds in two pieces, I still don't understand. It's been this way forever, but it is what it is. We just do what we do. So let's see. I need one of those. And I do believe the sheet metal is quite a large number of this stuff. And of course, that should be a light engineering block. And then we get a couple of scaffoldings going. And then we go up. Yes. Okay. Heavy engineering blocks go over there and right there. And then we do the light there, light, plus steel, sheet metal, I believe, sheet metal, that, and then the radiator blocks again, and I think more sheet metal back here, like this, one of those. And that should be everybody. Okay, cool. And then we need the rest of it. So I'm not going to try to produce this just yet. There's a kind of a pain in the butt to get these things to work. Let me see. The center should be the center in one of these, which is going to be one of those. So getting this to sit where you can actually see it is a pain in the butt. And I usually do not use the projector for this. So basically what we need to do now is we need to build this structure. So stop. We need to build that structure, which is pretty simple. You just find the center block and then you build down and you build up. So it should be something so simple as this, and then another one of those. It is 3, right? Yeah. Something like that. And then I think it is, yep, flat this. And then that. That's a nice sound. I like that. Okay. So had to stop for a second there. Let's see. So we need to do the 3, 3, and 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then I got this screwed up. Give me my book back. Where is my diamond pickaxe? I need to fix that. So that should be one of those. Cool. All right. Now let's go under and do the rest of this. So this should be a little bit simple. We just got to do that, and that. And then you have to kind of think about it when you're building it from the other side. So that, and that. I'm going to go ahead and dig down a little bit more. So then again, get your book out so you can see a full line of these plus 3. So 1, 2, ding, ding. And then that, I think, that should be everybody. All right, so in order to get to that one, you got to break that block and click the center block with one of those, and it should change into a bucket wheel, and it did. Good. And then you put this back, and you click on the back side right there, and we have a really loud noise, diggy dig hole. Hello, that's wonderful. Excuse me. So, because of how this got built, we should be able to kind of trim the edge off over here. So let's make a shovel path, and I don't want to be too stupid with this, but let's go ahead and put that down and this down. And where is my thing? Go away, please. We'll pick that box up and do this so we don't have to worry about it. And like I said, now hopefully that thing won't get anything but aluminum and iron. So we can input the power on any one of those blocks on the back side there, but it's only going to need 4,000 RF a tick. So if we do this, this, and this, and I thought I shut the, there. I want to be able to see line of sight is always a pain in the butt with this stuff too. Let's see. Maybe we'll do this and that. Now, down. Thank you. So we'll test that. We'll put one of those right there because that's the connectors for it. And it should only need one even though it has 3. So it doesn't really matter at that point. And then we can test up to there. And then over here to right there. And it turns. We can get rid of those. So what it has to do is it has to finish digging out the hole underneath of itself so that it can actually make things the deal that it needs to do. Right now what it's doing is it's digging the rest of the channel that's underneath of it. And I didn't want you. And as soon as it gets that over with, we should start seeing materials come in. Now, very carefully, we're going to do this. We're going to go ahead and just sleep. Okay, so very carefully, we can walk around the backside and we can kind of watch what it does. So it digs up stuff out of the ground. So that's some iron, that's some aluminum, that's some aluminum. And then, oh, there's a new animation for it. That's beautiful. You used to not be able to see the ores get thrown into the hopper. So it digs it up out of the ground and then it tosses it into that hopper, which is then collected in the back in this chest. Beautiful. Yay! We needed this stuff desperately. Desperately needed that stuff. So let's go downstairs, or at least actually should be able to possibly see it from here, maybe? You don't know? No? Actually, yeah, you can. You can just barely see the smoke. Yep, cool. So one of those generators is over there running now, taking care of its little problems. And I'm going to have to go get a lever, maybe, to shut this sucker off. I think I just do that, right? I can get a stick. Took all the sticks I had in my inventory and threw them out and got rid of them. And of course, that's just how it always works. So cool. We now have an excavator digging cool stuff, and we're making aluminum and small amounts of iron. I am going to let this run for a while until I get a really decent amount of aluminum, and then we're going to be shutting it off, and then I'll be building, excuse me, we'll be building another one of them probably out in the middle of this mess. Where the other iron vein is, there's going to be another iron system over there, and there's going to be another iron system. Like I said, we did everything along those directions, but this is going to allow us to be able to do quite a few things, and it's also going to allow me to get a little bit more of a decorative block for the roofing that I don't currently have, which is aluminum sheet metal. So I guess, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this might be a little bit all over the place, but at least we got a couple of things done. We got power distribution built, and we got our first excavator up and running, getting us aluminum so we can run high voltage lines all over the place. So see you guys in the next one. Bye.